Thursday, October 6th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East in the Weather on the Ones Forecast Center early this morning. And another very, very nice weather day is on tap across the region. We're going to keep this string of excellent weather days going right on through the weekend before some pretty big weather changes take place for parts of next week. Let's get into that here as we go through today's edition of the video. The radar extremely quiet over the eastern U.S. A few areas of rain in parts of Kansas and Oklahoma, but most of the significant activities from the Rockies back to the West Coast. And that activity just continues to really pile up. A lot of snow in some of the higher Rocky and Sierra Mountain locations. And looks like we don't have that image there, but there's some continued winter weather products out that way in the western U.S. Also still some wind products over much of the plains ahead of that big trough that's swinging on in. Temperatures this morning very chilly in the western U.S., and that's continuing to, of course, lead to some of those mountain snows. Pretty mild over the plain states, even some 60s up into southern Canada this morning, and then still some residual cool air this morning in the eastern U.S. Here's what's going on with the upper level pattern this afternoon off the European model. Some ridging over the southeastern U.S., and there's that big trough out west. Now look what happens by the time we get to Sunday evening down to the Gulf of Mexico. Some type of hybrid tropical development trying to take place, and depending on exactly where that forms and what the orientation of this trough is, it looks like whatever can develop in the eastern Gulf will get pulled off to the northeast and affect parts of the southeastern U.S. for portions of next week. I'll show you some of the model solutions on that here in just a second, but today we're in fantastic shape. A little backdoor cold front moving in, and so most of our highs a few degrees cooler than yesterday, but still we're in great shape. Some mid and a few upper 70s today with lots of sun. 70s with sunshine tomorrow. 70s with sunshine coming up for Saturday. And there's still a pretty good amount of sunshine Sunday with, again, some 70s remaining in place for highs. But then things begin to get a little bit more challenging in the forecast department. I'm going to keep Monday's forecast dry, but bring in a decent amount of cloud cover. Now the GFS here, this is one of the more eastern solutions with that little low pressure development. It has it forming really over Florida, sitting near Jacksonville by late Tuesday, and then up to off the Jersey coast as we get into Wednesday. The Canadian, a little bit of a different scenario. This is Sunday morning on the Canadian, and this is Tuesday morning on the Canadian with that low pressure over the Florida Panhandle. By that point in time, the range was spread into a good chunk of the Carolinas, and pretty decent little cold air damming signature on some of the modeling with this as well. So it could be kind of a cool, rainy scenario for sure if indeed we get those rains to settle in. And let me show you finally the European solution here for this. One more chart on the Canadian. This is Tuesday evening with that low moving into Georgia. The rains just settling in across the Carolinas Tuesday on the Canadian. Now on the European, this is Tuesday morning. Again, the rain's beginning to spread in. The cold air damming signature also in place on the European model, and this is early during the pre-dawn hours Wednesday morning. The rain's continuing across the Carolinas. It's a little bit of a drier scenario on the GFS, but for this morning's forecast package, I'm going to go with the rainier scenario for Tuesday and Wednesday before everything tries to exit thereafter. Now, over the next 5 days, this is the QPF chart from the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center here. Notice Florida, the bullseye here, and also back in the plains too. But as far as the little hybrid tropical development, it's Florida under the gun. Some widespread 2 to 3 plus inch totals, and they even have an 8.6 inch rain total bullseye there on the southeast coast of Florida. So we'll see. Interesting to watch. Now one more chart from the GFS here. This is going to be valid Thursday evening. Pretty strong cold front sweeping in, and if that's the case, going to be in great shape for all the racing festivities by Friday and Saturday next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And really, it looks like a pretty good weekend might be on tap for next weekend, too, after we have the rainy period for a portion of next work week. In the tropics, there's Philippe, and Philippe is going to continue to curve north and east and out to sea, and actually just below hurricane threshold as of the 5 a.m. advisory. Could become a hurricane today, but this is going to probably do a very effective job of avoiding any land areas. All right, that is it for this Thursday edition of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.